Okay, got yourself a Hayward Pool Vac navigator type deal, and it's just not getting around the pool like it used to. Chances are it's just flopping around loose like this, which means we've got worn parts inside. So let's take this thing apart and rebuild it. First thing we're going to do is unscrew this guy right here. Set this piece aside. A lot of times if your cleaner quits moving, it might be because there's a rock stuck in it. And what that rock will do is, if you can see this paddle wheel inside of here, the rock will get jammed in and stop that paddle wheel. So you can unscrew this piece off of there and reach in there and dislodge the rock. Anyways, we're going to take these next 4 screws off. Okay, we got those 4 screws off. We're going to take this off, set it aside, and we're going to remove these screws here. Set this piece aside. Now we got our final 2 screws here and here, which are going to allow us to access the turbine and turbine bearings. I'll spin this around so you can see it better. Okay, now we want to gently remove this piece because the turning mechanism is located inside of here. We don't want to lose any of those pieces. There's a couple little tiny pieces for that. You can see this little red piece right here. I'm just going to carefully leave that there in the position it was in. Try not to mess with it. Now, I've got my A-frame turbine kit right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the turbine first and its bearings, because those tend to wear out. Okay, now these bearings, a couple things on them. And let's see if I can turn it properly so you can see. There is a little groove inside the bearing. You can see it right there. And then also we know that we've got exposed ball bearings on this side, but this side is sealed, okay? What we want to do when we replace that A-frame, or the turbine and bearings, we're going to slide those bearings on, and those are notched on the inside as well, so we want to make sure that we put the notches on correctly where they go on the inside. Okay, just like that. So the left side has a little peg that sticks out right there, right here, whereas the right side doesn't. So we're going to turn this so it's oriented correctly, and our little grooves that are on the outside of the bearing, we're going to turn those so that they're facing us straight up. Oops, when you turn my bearings around, I want the sealed side outward on those, always sealed side outward. Okay, we're going to drop those in place. Okay, now that that's done, this piece back on. Now, like I said before, that piece, we want to keep that there just like it is because it's oriented. It's got a little square thing you can probably see on yours at home. and it's going to be oriented if we didn't move it at all to this. So if I'm real careful, I can just gently slide that back on. I want to make sure that the back vent goes into its slots like it's supposed to. Just nicely slide that in place like that, and it goes in good. You might have a little trouble with it. I'm a professional. I'm so good. I do this for a living, so it might go a little easier for me than it will for Mr. Weekend Warrior at home. But be patient with it and get it on there, and you'll have a nice free spinning turbine. And if you look inside here, if I can get this, my camera's good enough. I don't think it is, but the sides of the turbine are actually cammed, and that's what makes the cleaner go. And we'll look at that in just a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw this back down. Okay, I'm going to set that top end aside. We're going to work on our bottom side now. This is where a lot of the magic happens. And if you're really good, you won't forget about the screws and drop them all like I just did. Crap, there it is. Anyways, set your 4 screws aside in the beginning. And also, if you do drop something, pay attention to where it goes. Forget everything else and watch where whatever you drop goes, and then you'll be able to find it much easier. So, first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to remove our side pods. And I like to use a flat screwdriver for this. On the side pods right here, next to the wings, 2 little caps. We're going to carefully work those off. Just like that. Work those each side a little bit each side, nice and gently, and those will come right off. Inside there, we have some 1/4 inch screws. We're going to use a 1/4 inch nut driver to remove those. Now, just like with the end caps, we're going to work off the side pods from the chassis little by little, alternating each side, work them off, and they'll pop off for us just like that. Okay, we got those aside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to replace our A-frames, which are these guys right here. I got my brand new ones in the kit. We're going to replace these with Phillips head screwdriver. Get this guy right here. Pull that off. Set that aside. And then these little bushings in here, these come out too. We're going to just grab those with my fingers, and they are hard to see, but it's actually flat here on the top and the bottom so that we can orient that correctly inside the holes where those go, so just keep that in mind.